and welcome back to Unite Students YouTube channel. My name is Lucy. It has been a long while since I've sat down and talked to you guys, and that is because the last few months have been manic for me, to say the least. My workload has been crazy and I've been getting everything ready for my final year of uni in September, and I had a little bit of a disaster about a month ago when I spilt a glass of wine on my laptop and it broke. I lost everything. And I'm smiling and laughing about it now. At the time it was horrific. So everything on my laptop from September until now is gone. I can't recover my data. So there's a little tip for you before we even start. Make sure you back up your laptop onto an external hard drive, or use that thing called the cloud if you don't already, to save your stuff, because I've lost everything. But yeah, I've got a new laptop and I also have a new camera, which is really exciting. So I am gonna be filming a video today talking to you guys all about what it's like living with other people. So whether that be your housemates, whether they're strangers or your friends, I'm gonna talk about my experiences of living with different people, different personality types, the situations that I've been in, and then I'm gonna give you some tips and advice on how to survive living with housemates. So I'll give you a little bit of context about the experiences that I've had. We're going to go back in time. We're going to go back to 2015. So my first year of university, I applied to live in university-owned halls. I wanted to live in a mixed flat and I requested that I live with people aged 21 or older. I was 21 at the time of starting uni, as I'd taken a few gap years. So I ended up in a 4-bed mixed flat with 1 girl and 2 boys, and we were all 21, which was great. So we could all relate to each other in that sense, that we'd all been working or travelling for a few years beforehand. At the beginning, it was amazing. During freshers and during the first month of living with each other, we all got on like a house on fire. The 4 of us were very, very good friends. The girl that I lived with had a very similar personality type to me. We became best friends kind of straight away. The 2 guys I knew were slightly different, had different interests and hobbies to me, but we did get on to start with. I think after a while the personality differences started to show a bit more, and I realised that me and particularly one of my flatmates in first year, we had very different values, very different ways of living, and this is where disagreements started. So yes, expect the fact that you might not get on with all of your flatmates. I think that's really important to remember. So me and this particular flatmate didn't get on very well at all. We disagreed on a lot, and we did argue, but the most important thing was that we remained respectful of each other. I think that's so important. At this stage in your life, you're all adults. The people you are living with, you should be civil with. You should be respectful of, whether you like them or not, whether they're your friends or not. That's really important. So yeah, I did have a few instances in my first year where I did question whether I could cope or not, but I had to remember at the end of the day, it was only for a year, it wasn't forever, and we had our own rooms, we had our own privacy, and I didn't really need to interact with this person that much at the end of the day. We could do our own thing. So yeah, and I think it definitely taught me a lot as a person. It helped me grow and learn a lot about myself. That is something that you should really take away from living with other people, is that you learn so much about yourself and how to handle different situations and different kinds of people. In my second year, I had a very different situation where I lived with 7. There was 7 of us in total. I lived in a 7-bedroom flat in private halls, and it was all girls. So I lived with 4 girls that were on my course and 2 girls that we were friends with through living with in first year. And the 7 of us became really close in our first year of uni. We became really good friends and we knew we wanted to live with each other. So it was just a case of finding a flat big enough and something that suited all of us. And yeah, we ended up together for second year and it was the best time. I always get asked questions about whether it was difficult living in an all-girl flat, and whether we argued a lot. Was it bitchy? Was there kind of any divide in the group or anything like that? And my answer is no, not at all. We all got on incredibly well. Don't get me wrong, there would have been times where we wanted to tear each other's hair out. If one of my housemates was playing Justin Bieber too loudly, you know who you are, that would be kind of annoying, but you just get used to it. We definitely bickered about things like washing up, cleaning, all the normal stuff that you might have a disagreement with your flatmates about, but there was never any serious arguing, which was great. So yeah, that was my second year. Now I'm in my third year. I'm on placement and I had to move somewhere completely new. So this was an entirely different situation to my first 2 years. Well, kind of similar to first year actually. So I came for my induction day about this time a year ago at Waitrose head office, and I met all the other placement students, and I think within about 4 or 5 hours of meeting we were already house hunting, which is kind of scary as we didn't know much about each other at this stage. And we found the 6-bedroom house that we're currently in, and we signed for it, and we all decided to live with each other without knowing anything about each other, which was a bit crazy. And we filled the spare room with another placement student from the area. We found him on Facebook, met up with him in person, and we thought that he'd be a perfect match for the house, so he signed to come and move in with us. And that has worked out incredibly well. I think we've all been really lucky that we get on with each other so well. So there is 3 boys and 3 girls in my house currently, and the 5 of us work together with the 1 individual that doesn't. And that's actually something that's quite interesting. I think it's been a bit of a learning curve for me over the last kind of 10 months or so, that you always need to include people and not to ever leave anybody out. So it's important for us as a house that we don't isolate our 6th housemate who doesn't work with us, because it can be difficult. We come home from work and we're constantly talking about things that we're all doing. So yeah, it's important that you always include everybody that you're living with. And what next for me? So in September I will be moving into a privately owned flat again with 4 other girls, 2 of which are on my course at university, and they're currently on placement as well. Hello if you're watching. And then the other 2 girls that we're living with are complete strangers. So we requested girls that were quiet, in their final year of university, clean, etc., and I think they had requested the same, so we've been matched as a 5, and fingers crossed the dynamic will work well and we'll get on with them really well, I hope. So we'll see. So those are kind of my experiences and who I've lived with and how I've ended up living with those people over the last 3 years. So yeah. Tip number 1 is simply to be open-minded about the situation. So I think, based on what I've said, it is unrealistic to expect that everybody you live with is going to be your best friend, because at the end of the day, we're all different. Everybody has different interests and hobbies. Everyone has different values and different ways of living. So just be open-minded to the fact that you might not get on with everybody that you live with. So yeah, that's the first one. Number 2 is to make the conscious effort to get to know your housemates. So these people could end up being your friends, and if not, they're going to be your acquaintances. You're going to see them a lot. So make sure you ask some questions. Where are they from? What course do they do at university? Do they have a job? How are they feeling? Just make the effort to get to know them as a person. You could end up having really similar interests, or finding someone that likes something that you do too, and you could end up becoming really good friends. So yeah, make sure you get to know them. Number 3 is to discuss house rules and get it out of the way at the beginning. It sounds really boring, it kind of is, but who wants to empty a bin? Nobody does. So make sure you set up a rota to do it. Make a cleaning rota. You shouldn't be smoking inside anyway, but if any of your flatmates smoke, make sure you set a rule at the beginning that you want them to smoke outside. If people have a boyfriend or a girlfriend or want to bring friends over, make sure it's discussed with the group first. If somebody's got to be up early the next day for an exam, for example, or if somebody's got a job, make sure you keep the music down after a certain time. Agree with each other. Oh, after midnight, can we all keep the noise down? Things like that you could end up arguing about at a later date. It's easy if you just get it over and done with at the beginning, and then there's no awkward conversation to be had a few months in. Number 4 is kind of relates to that a little bit, is to just be fair. So don't be a massive hypocrite. If you tell your flatmate off for playing music too loudly, don't do the same thing. Do your washing up. Don't leave all your stuff in the kitchen for a week. Think how you want to live and how you want to be treated, and treat your flatmates and treat your flat in that way. Number 5, a good tip is to share basic utilities. So if you've got a shared bathroom, don't be the person that never buys a toilet roll. Make sure you share the cost of things like that. You could set up a joint bank account. So me and my housemates have a joint bank account together, and we all contribute and we share the cost of things like washing up liquid, sponges, toilet roll, kitchen roll. If you all drink the same tea or coffee, then share those too. You could have a weekly rota where you take it in turns to buy things like milk or butter or cereal, bread, things that you could all share on a daily basis. So it will work out a little bit cheaper in the long run for all of you that way. And the last thing, number 6, is just to enjoy it. So make the most of it. Do silly things with your housemates, make dens, have movie nights, cook together, eat together, sit in the kitchen and actually talk to each other, because when the year's over you might regret not spending as much time with them as you had, or you might have enjoyed it more than you thought you could if you'd actually just taken the time to enjoy it. When you're young and when you're in university, it is one of the only times you get to experience living with such a wide variety of personality types and such different people. And when you're older, you might live on your own, or you might live with one friend, you might live with a partner, and you're not going to get the opportunity again to live with 5, 6, 7 other people. Be it stressful at times to be living with people you don't know, it is a lot of fun, so just make the most of it. And that is it really from me today. I will link anything I've forgotten to mention in the description box below. I've read a couple of interesting articles about overcoming difficult conversations with people that you're living with, how to get on well and make the most of living with new people. I will pop all of that in the description box below, so check those out if you need any more information. If you've got any questions, leave a comment down below and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Make sure as well, if you are currently living with a group of people and not enjoying it, that you reach out to somebody. It's really important that you don't kind of suffer in silence when you're in halls and when you're at university and not enjoy it, because it's so important that you have fun. So if you aren't, make sure you talk to somebody. And if you're currently in university, or if you're going to university in September, then I hope you enjoy it and make the most of the time with new people and new friends. I will speak to you guys very soon in another video, I'm sure. Good luck with anything that you've got at the moment. I know it's kind of dissertation and exam season, so good luck with whatever you're doing. I've got all of that coming up this time next year. I can't wait. Or am I dreading it? I'm not so sure, but yeah, I will speak to you soon, guys. Bye.